as well as from curative, we move towards more wellness activities to improve the quality of life as envisioned by your Honorable Prime Minister of India in the Ayushman Bharat PM Jan Arogya Yojana. Our health, Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Centers are a fine example wherein from the illness we have gone to the wellness as an outcome. Okay. So, as you all know, the SDG 3, this is the good health and the well-being. This, discusses about the universal health coverage, the financial risk protection, and the financial risk protection is given by the PMJ scheme for the inpatients, and Ayushman Bharat Health Wellness Centers are the OPD, provisioners. So these two, the IPD insurance cover 5 lakhs to every family in the country, and to the OPD services free of cost. This will enable that we achieve a universal health coverage for the people who are not so well-to-do and the poor people. We have to have an inclusive and a holistic coverage which will help this, and this already has permeated to more than over 10.5 crores of Ayushman Bharat cards, and they are already taking the free treatment and health facilities in the country. So what we look at is the access to quality essential services, safe and effective quality and affordable, the medicines, the diagnostics, the vaccines for all. The COVID-19 pandemic was a fine example wherein everybody was little having apprehension ki how will government manage such a huge populous country, 1.4 billion population, but it successfully managed to give free of cost the vaccines to each and every one in the country. That is what is an inclusive coverage, and the universal health coverage is the first step. Now more and more the states governments are, because you all know health is a state subject, so more and more the state governments are coming out with their programs in declaring their state as achieving the universal health coverage. In this whole gamut, the diagnosis is a very critical enabler of this universal health coverage, as it is the weakest link in the care cascade. If you can't have good equipment for diagnostic, accurate diagnosis, then your treatment will not work. So this is very important, and this is more so true in these primary healthcare settings and low resource countries like ours. A brief word about the NHSRC. You all must be knowing the National Health System Resource Center. This is a think tank for the Ministry of the Health and Family Welfare. We help the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare to develop policies and frameworks, operational templates and guidelines. And my division, I am Dr. Ranjan Chaudhary, the advisor healthcare technology. We deal and provide support, technical support to the states and UTs, and advise the government on any issues regarding technology. There are 4 or 5 important flagship programs which we are running, like the Pradhan Mantri National Dialysis Program, the Biomedical Equipment Maintenance and Management Program, the Free Drug Diagnostic Initiative Services Initiative Program, and the ARB Compliance Program. Apart from this, we are also technically supporting the MVPI, the Materiovigilance Program of the India, and we actively participate in all their meetings which they hold from the IPC. So the NHSRC helps in preparation, as I said, of standard operating procedures, guidance, newsletter, and all. At the same context, I would like to thank the IPC also to giving me a platform to discuss with you all the young minds, about the NHSRC. So this structure, I think since morning you are all there engaged, and you must have seen also, this is where the CDSO, the Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute for Medical Science, they are acting as the nodal center, and national NHSRC comes here where we interact with the CDSO and the Sri Chitra, and all meetings we are there, which are organized by the IPC and in the MDA events, and each and every report which are being flagged in the country, which are collected in the country, are analyzed and discussed within these technical forums, and appropriate procedure is taken. Either you go for more further analysis, or recall the item, or suspend the item. So that CDSO is a regulatory authority, and they take the decision. We give our comments as far as the MVPI structure goes and technical support. So the objectives for achieving universal health coverage, I have already said. Mainly, if you see, the government, if we increase the government spending on healthcare, for the GDP right now it is 1.4%, and visage is 2.5%. But if you say the total health expenditure, including the government and the private, it is somewhat touching as 3.4%. So the more you spend in the health, the returns are very good. You will have reduction in out of pocket expenditure. So more and more, like PM Abhim very recently lost 70,000 crore. This is a great amount of funds being infused to the public health system, and I'm sure the results after 4 5 years, you will see that the out of pocket expenditure had decreased phenomenally, because these boosts of financial packages help in reduction of the out of pocket expenditure. Right now it is hovering around, say, around 42.5%. So in vitro diagnostics is very important, which is my main topic. As you know, WHO has defined that is anything which you do in open outside the body, in a glass, meaning that their tests are typically conducted in test tubes and other equipment, similar equipment. They will be classed as IVDs, and it's a broad range. IVDs, from self-test, from home care onwards, I'll be discussing in the subsequent slides, right from the pregnancy and blood glucose monitors to sophisticated diagnosis performed in the clinical labs. So other examples of IVDs are like HIV testing, blood type identification, cancer screening. So there are two main types of IVD devices, right? So as shown here, the lab-based tests and the point-of-care tests. These are the two important in vitro diagnosis. I'll be discussing about these two tests more. Then the market, you must be aware that India is the fourth largest in leading, I will say, in the global IVD market, and the global medical device market has tremendous potential. It is poised to grow to 134.56 billion by 2030, and India's share is around 24% approximately of IVDs, which constitute this 54.5 billion. In this, 24% shares is only for IVDs, and India is leading. It's in fourth rank. So we have a tremendous future, and because we got a lot of incubators wherein new prototypes are being designed and developed for point of care tests. And the COVID has shown again that we did not rely totally on the Chinese, the PPEs and all that. And very quickly, India responded in developing, manufacturing its own PPE, which were much better quality, more rugged and all. And, the oxygen concentrators. So India manufacturing, Make in India, these all campaigns, Startup India, they are all towards, self-reliance and making India a much more as a manufacturer and producing quality equipment and IVDs. So the importance is known to everybody. It will, any entry point to disease management, if you can't diagnose, then it will spread. So you have to have a very good and robust equipment for affordable and accurate diagnostic, which includes manpower, also the knowledge database, the transmission. So these are very important, and it has been tested in the COVID pandemic. And thank God we got a very robust IDSP program running in the country over years, which saved us in disease surveillance and its reporting and breakdown. And India's example is now being quoted in the world, which the Westerns could not achieve. Our country has achieved in controlling and confining the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. So the medical device and the patient safety, they are interrelated, as you see in this diagram. Patient safety inclusive of everything, whatever you can think on the earth. So everything will come for the patient safety. Now, the use of electricity for medical diagnostic, measurement, and therapy equipment potentially exposes patients to even caregivers to the risk of shock, burns, internal organ damage, cardiac arrhythmia, many things. And wrong application of a medical device and its erroneous results will also compromise the patient safety. It is important that the healthcare staff to have knowledge and the skill for handling medical device correctly. And this is the most weakest link. Many biomedical engineers will agree with me कि though there are so many equipments and all, the healthcare staff is not trained properly to handle that equipment or to know कि what are the basic parameters where he should focus in case there is a problem, and what are the minimal troubleshooting he should do. Even to that effect, I have seen during my as a field experience, people don't even check the power plugs, the outlets, whether the electricity is being coming in a proper voltage, whether there are voltage regulators. There are many things where there is a the static currents can also damage the equipments, and a proper earthing is required. So the in vitro diagnostic in India, as it is shown here, in India you have these, the market is segmented by test type like clinical chemistry, molecular diagnostics. More and more new emerging diagnostics are coming as, lateral flow assays, lab on a chip diagnostics, molecular diagnostics, immunodiagnostics, products also like instrument reagents, other usability. This is the segment where disposable IVD devices, reusable IVD devices, application. The disease wise, diabetes, cancer, and the end user, of course, the diagnostic labs, hospital, homes, clinics, and like that. So coming to the classification, this has also must have been discussed. So what we are here, we must focus on the class C and the class D. They are very high, and so hence the IVD is also considered as a medical device, and they come under the regulatory control of the CDSCO. So they have put this class C IVDs and class D IVDs under control. These are the priority areas in our country wherein the POC devices have a role. There are 12 packages which are rolled out from the Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Care. These are listed here, and each packages is done with some equipment, some intervention is done, and some technology using the equipment is being used for getting a improved programmatic outcome. So it's mentioned in this slide. I'll not go through this. You please remember that WHO has given the POCT, the point of care test. They should fulfill these assured criteria. It should be affordable, sensitive, specific, user friendly, rapid and robust, equipment free. Matlab, it doesn't require electricity or something like that. Major equipment, so that a person in the field can usually use it, and deliverable to end users. So these settings are used: urgent care setting, emergency, hospital, home. These all settings you can use a POC diagnostics. These are the formats you must have seen yourself: the devices, the handheld devices, wearables, transportable devices. So there are plenty of this point of care testing formats. This is a classification for academic interest. Otherwise, they are basically, as I mentioned, the segment wise classification. It can be classified as operation, utility, sampling, result reporting, cost analysis. So there are a host number of the POC devices. So in our country, we run a free diagnostic service initiative program, which is very important, which provides and ensures availability of minimum number of tests at each level of health facility, which is listed here. You see, in a sub center or a health wellness center, the Ayushman Bharat Health Wellness Center, you expect a minimum number of 14 test availability. And out of these 14, you will see that point of care rapid card test forms 6, and the other essential tests, which includes IVDs, also are 8. So similarly, in a PHC, you expect 63, in a community health center, 97, in SDH, 111, and in a DH, 134 number of tests it is recommended, which are minimum. You may have much more than them, but the minimum is required, is listed, and we try to promote the availability of these minimum tests as per EDL at each level of healthcare. There's another shot of the health and wellness, what all we have, glucometer, rapid kit test for malaria, HIV, dengue, and all that. The validation is a big issue on these POCT devices. Why they are not, the acceptability of the POCT devices. You must remember that in COVID also, when the RT-PCR card tests were used, there were a lot of inconsistencies in the report, and one had to screen and then wait for 3 4 days, match with the real time in the lab RT-PCR report. Then the lab on a chip, like the True Chip, the chip-based technology came, and TrueNat gave almost around 96% of reliability and accuracy. So this validation of POC devices is a big issue. That is why the acceptability of the POCT device by the physicians or the doctors is a big question, because it is a very help screening tool, but you cannot depend on total until unless you validate those diagnostic properly. So determinants of these are the accuracy, as I mentioned, the reproducibility, precision, reporting range of analytical measurement, and reference intervals. These are again the various POC testing kits at the health and wellness center you have. Now, what are the barriers which does not allow this POC? As I mentioned, the validation is one of the biggest barriers. The second is, while you are innovations, incubators, they think of designing, and some they target. So the fund is a big source. When they don't get adequate fund, so that thinking process or the thought process, it dies at the proof of concept stage. So we have to invest heavily on this research. Then only you can have prototypes, and then later on, once the prototype is validated and field piloted, you can then put it to a market introduction. Here the CDSO role comes, because they will first assess the safety of the device and then only give authorization or a license for a pre-market in the market penetration. And after that, we don't have any system, though there is a post-market surveillance, we the MVPI and IPC do it, but we should inculcate and have a rapid and a robust database throughout the country, wherein you all will be as a nodal persons, after listening to all this, will be the eyes and ears at the various centers, wherein you will report any adverse event, whatever it is. It may be a light event or something which you feel has gone wrong, must be reported immediately. Until unless you report, the post-market surveillance is very weak, and then the equipment cannot be refined, because firstly, the safety is of prime concern. Secondly, we have to tell the manufacturer also this is a problem. Otherwise, how can he have the feedback? So it's very important. And the usage, we have to improve by building the trust, by having good quality of POC. Then only it will be used and accepted by the community. Similarly, the quality is very important, wherein the lab and all, where you are using these IVDs, the proper structure is there, which includes staff, equipment, guidelines, supplies. The process is well oiled, and the outcomes, obviously you reduce the morbidity, mortality, and you increase the patient user satisfaction. So these are the few criteria which we have for quality assurance and the quality control and the validation of the lab processes. Quality assurance includes both external quality assessment and the internal quality control. So that means you have to be NABL accredited or accredited to a CMC Vellore or AIMS New Delhi, or have an inter-lab cooperation with your state reference lab. Then only you can say I'm good. It's not that I say good, but the other people don't believe you or trust you, right? So there's another big issue is the concern is the supply chain of diagnostic reagent consumables. If you don't get in time the right amount of diagnostic reagent consumables, then you will be having stockouts, and then you cannot use that equipment. The equipment is bought in such a cost. The total, if you see the reagents and consumables, they occupy around 15 to 40% of the total expense of operating a clinical lab. So this very important fact is to have a robust supply chain management for this diagnostic reagent and consumables. And there are many various factors we are working on it actively to how to improve the supply chain for these reagents and consumables. These are the few factors here listed out. We require a robust IT mobile app for monitoring the stocks and everything. Similarly, there are digital innovations and diagnosis of disease. You are all must be aware with the point of care and SpO2. In the COVID, we had used, now the watches have come, wearable device which transmits your ECG and SpO2 and blood pressure and everything. So similarly, we are leveraging this IT in the e-sanjeevnis and all, teleradiology, teleophthalmology. These all are in practice and in use in the government sector. So my last slide, I will say that how can we improve the access to the IVDs in the country is, we have to invest in these affordable technologies and heavily in the R&D and D and the manufacturing, and also, invite public-private partnership. Government alone can't do it. PPP has to come and support, and in tandem, we have to leverage this knowledge and do technology transfers. There's a multi-tier connected integrated lab networks. As you all must have heard about IPHL, Integrated Public Health Lab, that focuses on this only to have assured upward and downward linkages with the hub labs and the other satellite labs as the spoke, where they are interconnected with the IDSP labs also, and there is a strong disease surveillance mechanism and diagnostic instruments and consumables for ensuring effective supply chain. Training and capacity building is a very big issue, and that also is very important, which is not, there is a huge gap in this. And all other institutes and all in the states, we are trying to tell them this aspect requires, so that the equipment handling guy or the lab techs, they all are to be trained in the proper use and safe use of the equipment. So these are the few. Thank you very much. I have completed my this thing. Now, if anybody has any question, you're most welcome. Nikita, over to Nikita. Yes, Nikita, can you hear me? Hello, is there any question? If not, then I sign off. I'm not able to hear Nikita.
Yes, sir.
Nikita, I have completed. Yeah, anybody wants to speak anything?
Sir, now is it audible? Sir, am
Yeah,
I
it's
audible to
audible.
you?
I've just completed, so you can just sum up.
Sir, first of all, thank you very much for a wonderful presentation. My name is Sudhakar. I represent BD.
Thank you.
And your presentation has given the end-to-end issues and clarifications, etc. So I have a one practical operational question.
Yeah, please.
In the current scenario, there is no mandate for labs to take accreditation. There
Yeah.
are over 1 lakh labs and they operate with a minimal infrastructure, or more sophisticated labs have the NABH accreditation, NABL. So there are only very minimal or insignificant number of labs. So when you are telling all those steps, management, validation, calibration, etc., between lab to lab, as a customer, as a patient, we get a variation. And the level of confidence is also less between doctors to send to non-NABL accredited lab.
I
So
agree.
what is your recommendation? How can we come out of this issue?
Okay. Okay. See, this is a big gap. We are working on it because, as you are aware, my healthcare technology division is a WHO collaborating center also. Now we are taking this year this in the work plan of improving the quality EQS programs, interlab concepts, like whatever the quality support services. Though in the government of India is running the NQAS, you must have heard about National Quality Accreditation Service. They go through a model of external assessors, internal assessors, and they are deployed on the field who go and give assessment. And NQAS is like NABH, is better than that. In fact, it's in the public health system. And NQAS certification implies that your standards are quite good. Now that is one part which does not cover the processes in detail like NABH does, rightly said. NABL accreditation, NABH, they are more process oriented, which we are also trying now, that the district hospital and the down below the SDH level should follow certain guidelines. For that, we are working with the WHO to develop a protocol, a standard protocol, to ensure that this quality driven services are there. So firstly is the awareness, to create awareness. Secondly, to improve the quality, as you rightly said, interlab comparison, EQS and all. So wherever we go, we are holding workshop, like national level workshop we are holding every year to imbibe this point. But unless we go to the field and do state-wise regional workshops to make them understand the importance of quality. Uh, the state will be little like this, but it will improve definitely with our, both joint effort with the state and us. We foresee that it will improve with the days ahead.
Thank you, sir. One add-on question. Can
Yeah,
we request the government of India to come out with some minimal standards,
yeah.
failing which, because at least those minimal standard NABL or the ISQA let people is the next step. So
Yes.
1 lakh labs to get into the accreditation, it will be a time. So maybe please do consider, sir. We have a
Yes,
request.
yes, we are already considering this and we are working on it. Very shortly within this year, and I think we'll be able to find out the minimal standards. Or there was a committee with the DGHS also had set for the sample transportation, collection, and all. Accordingly, the quality also we are working with the WHO. Will be coming out with that guideline. Thank you for your suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else?
Sir, in the audience, we do have one question from online mode.
Yeah.
How many new startups for IVDs have come after COVID?
Yeah, there are plenty. You see, we have a national health innovation portal. Now, accordingly, there are many other portals like you have IP Global, their own startups. You have Atal Innovation. You have many other sectors. But as per the government, we try to create awareness and ask them to submit their proposals in our national health innovation portal, so that we can do a health technology assessment. We can apprise them. So you will be happy that around this year only we received around 20 to 25 proposals which are to be appraised right now. And if you take the history for the last 4 years, since 2017, I think MHNP is operational. We have almost around 134 or something health product innovation. So there is a mechanism and a robust system wherein we have a lot of innovations coming as a product as well as best practices. So we apprise the innovation health products along with the ministry. Now we have got a single vertical where we are interlinkages with the all other innovators, private and public. And 6 monthly we have proposed that we meet to apprise in a single platform all the available startups or the health innovations in the country. But we are doing good.
Thank you, sir.
Anything else?
No, sir.
On the behalf of our organizing committee, thank you so much, sir, for sharing your immense knowledge with us and as well as your time also.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nikita. Thank you.
So, moving towards our next session, that is a case study analysis headed by Dr. Sameer Dingra. Department of Pharmacy Practice, Niper, Hajipur. Sameer sir has obtained his doctoral degree from Guru Jambheshwar University of Science and Technology, Hisar, India, and master's degree from Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, Bangalore, India. He has more than 18 years of teaching and research experience to his credit. His areas of interest include medication safety and promoting rational use of medicines among healthcare professionals. Dr. Dingra has a good number of research publications in peer-reviewed journals and has also filed Indian patents. He is also on the board of various reputed journals at the different levels. He is professionally active member and known internationally for his work in the field of rational use of medicines and received appreciation as well as awards from different organizations. I would like to invite sir to take over the session. Thank you.
Yes, madam. So, good afternoon to all of you. And at the outset, I'm thankful to the Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission for giving Niper Hajipur as an opportunity to, to run the material vigilance program here. And since we are just in learning phase, अच्छा उनके लिए माइक नहीं था, ऑन नहीं था क्या? हाँ, that's right. So, good afternoon to all of you. So, at the outset, first of all, I am thankful to Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission for giving an opportunity to Niper Hajipur, okay, for running this material vigilance program here. And it is an opportunity for us and as well as an opportunity for me as a program coordinator for this MVPI program, for this material vigilance program, which we are running here since last 1 year. And when I look back at, our 1 year journey, whatever experience we have gained from material vigilance program, because it was one of the crucial program from Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission. And before starting this program, in fact, I was just listening the lectures also from the other speakers also during this 2 days training event. And what I could see that, like, we were most of the members who were the part of, the rational use of drugs and other components with regard to medication safety, patient safety. We have come across regarding the drugs. But medical devices was the new domain which most of us, we were not familiar. I think if you ask me, I just got familiar just hardly 2 years back. That too, once when I came across the European guidelines, I could understand, okay, this is the material vigilance program. It is on the similar lines how we are running the pharmacovigilance program with regard to rational use of drugs and other things. And then I could realize the, how this material vigilance program has a significance to the patient safety. That I could only recognize when I started understanding about the medical devices, adverse events associated with the medical devices. And moreover, these medical devices associated, adverse events, they started appearing after the COVID-19. When during COVID-19, many medical devices which were used by the hospital settings, community settings, they were not giving those kind of results what the clinicians were expecting at that point of time. And that picture came into the, the scene. Though it was different from the pharmacovigilance, how pharmacovigilance started with the, the thalidomide disaster. Material vigilance, I will say, it has got public eye or healthcare professional eye after COVID-19. And that was the era when everybody started looking for the material vigilance. And that was the time even when Niper Hajipur also, started thinking about, let us do something about the medical devices also. And I will say it is not only the Niper Hajipur, across all Nipers, even our Department of Pharmaceuticals, they started taking it seriously. Last month, when I was there at Chintan Shiva, that was organized by our Department of Pharmaceuticals, our Ministry of Chemical and Fertilizers, our secretary, madam, she told very clearly to all the Nipers that it is a time that all Nipers should look beyond the pharmaceuticals also. We need to take together the medical devices also. We cannot leave them alone, leave them isolated basically. And when we see the pharmacovigilance, and then when I started to look at it as a reflective, how pharmacovigilance can be helpful in similar terms to, with regard to the material vigilance. The first guiding principle that came to my mind, that if we cannot protect our patient, we do not have the right to harm them. So that was the only guiding principle, I will say, which reflects on both pharmacovigilance as well as material vigilance. And being a healthcare professional, one thing I could understand, I know that there are more than 750 registrations are there from online, and I could see more than 100 people sitting around here. All of us, we are healthcare professionals. And when we guided by this principle, then we need to understand we have we have to do all those things what are required to protect our patient safety. And when it comes to the material vigilance, this is the program. I think all the healthcare professionals who are attending this program today, they need to look at in their clinical facility, whether it is a small instrument, big instrument, small medical device, or a big medical device, they have to see it should not harm the patient. And morning when I was going through this nursing session from the nursing officer, Amrish his name, and I was just thinking, Abhilash, sorry, from AIMS, Mangalagiri. And I was just reflecting, to the level medical devices, how medical, from where medical devices start. It just start from your, your bud, even simple cotton roll. And many times, if I speak about me, I come from a community pharmacy background, and I have almost 20 years of experience before entering into my first degree, even B Form. That was my first, official degree. When I used to sit on my father-run community pharmacy in my childhood, I used to wonder whatever cotton roll we used to get, no, starting from 75 gram, going up to 500 gram, half kg. That cotton was never a clean white cotton. Those cotton rolls, those were used for the surgical purpose or for different, clinical purposes inside the OT room or different rooms. But I have never seen that cotton in a clean form. And even that, though I was a child, hardly at the age of 11 or 12, I used to wonder that whether this cotton, they are going to use it for the patient. Honestly, I'm telling you, packed cotton, not white. I used to see the dust and so many clumps inside. And at the same time, whenever I used to go to the farmhouse also, no, my father used to cultivate this one, cotton also. And that farmhouse cotton was more clean, produced by the nature rather than what we're putting it for the patient. This is the fact I'm telling you. And it is not only the cotton. Then I can share hundreds of experience where I've seen these IV sets, IV drip, cannula, all those things, even disposable syringes. Syringes used to be, I've seen many times, even the dextrose bottles, many times I've seen coming with the fungus or some floating material or some foreign particle inside. And that was the thing which was pinching me when I look at the Material Vigilance Program of India. Let us take this initiative at Niper Hajipur. And I am not here to, present a case analysis. I'm presenting the whole system analysis, why this material vigilance has a significance to the system. Because case analysis, though I may present one or two, because time will not allow me to present more than one or two presentation at this point of time. But really, this is something, I will say, the gray area where every healthcare professional need to work. If we will not work it today, quality will not come. And if the quality is not there with the product, I am sure it is going to harm the patient in one way or other way. That morning itself, we have seen in the morning notice, it is just like similar to same slides we read for pharmacovigilance. It may increase the hospital stay. It may increase the hospitalization cost. It may lead to the morbidity. It may lead to the, even in worst scenario, people may die also. Mortality rate also may go up in the clinical facility. So this is just a presentation I'm giving, and this presentation is just based on my 1 year experience. If I am somewhere wrong, please forgive me. Okay, I'm just trying to learn more and more in this particular domain. And this is one of the form which for the first time I came across when I started looking at the MBPI program. And I asked from the IPC people, Dr. Kalai Selvan, and I said, sir, I want to see what form you are using for the Materiovigilance program. And this was the first time when I came across this form. And this form was almost like a, the ADR filling form. It was speaking about the general information about the report, what kind of date of report, type of report, reporter's details, then the device category, whether it is a medical device or it is a in vitro diagnostic tool or it is a medical equipment or a machine. Then further detail about the manufacturer, lot number, batch number, importer, distributor. So all those pictures, I started collecting those details. And when I read this form, I didn't feel like that I don't know anything out of this, because I was very much familiar from my community pharmacy experience that how we used to procure the drugs, batch number, lot number, then bill number, how it is coming. All those things were very much similar. Distributor, who is the distributor, who is the wholesaler, retail counter, how we are going to sell it. All those things were very, very clear in similar manner. Then particularly coming to the device related things were there that was similar to the pharmaceuticals. Then event description. Now the event description was something, the component which we as a healthcare professional, we are supposed to write if we are working in a clinical setting or a community pharmacy setting. What is the date of event, date of implant or explant, all those things with regard to the event, whatever patient has faced or whatever adverse event has occurred with the that particular given device. Then detailed description of the event, then the patient information with regard to history and outcome, then healthcare facility information, from where we are collecting that information, from what facility it is coming from, then the causality assessment, how we are going to, what the investigation action has been taken with regard to that particular event, then what was the root cause of the problem we need to identify through this form, and information need to be filled in this form. Then the manufacturer details, then where to report and how to report, and all that information is given in this particular form. And just for the convenience of our, the people who are present here, I just try to put it into a, a single slide, different components, which just now I read, in this form. So this form, basically, it has been divided into the various following sections, starting from general information, reporter details, device category, device description, event, description, then patient information, history and outcome, then healthcare facility information, causality assessment, then the details about the manufacturer, representative investigation and action taken. And this is the form, I think, this is with regard to the, that is one of the good things that has come from MVPI only, Material Vigilance Program from Material Vigilance Program of India from IPC, that they came out during COVID-19, this particular form with regard to the personal protective equipments. That was the specialized form, because many people during the COVID-19, they were facing this particular problem, and this single page form was specifically designed. And even this form also received a very overwhelming response from all the healthcare professionals in terms of reporting associated with adverse events associated with personal protective equipments. Now this is a case that is coming from our own clinical facility, from where we could collect the data, and this is regard to the linear accelerator. And the case narrative, something goes like this. It is a case of a 30-year-old male patient who was admitted on May 24th in Mahavir Cancer Sansthan Hospital, and in Patna. This Mahavir Cancer Sansthan and Research Center, it is one of the the highly specialized cancer tertiary care hospital, where all kind of cancer treatment, all kind of cancers are treated under one roof. It is one of the most recognized cancer hospital in Eastern Zone. And in this particular hospital, this particular patient was diagnosed with carcinoma of tongue grade 4A. And the patient has undergone radiation therapy on June 2nd. And on the next day, this patient, he complains about oral mucositis grade 2 with painful erythema, ulcer or edema. And also patient was complaining of, during investigation, they could find, clinician could find altered mental status and behavior. Then patient also complains about disturbed sleep, dry mouth, and difficulty in swallowing solid food, altered taste function. So with these many, the adverse events, the patient was came with to the clinician, and this case was considered as a serious adverse event by the healthcare professionals, and the radiation therapy was stopped for 3 days, and this case follow-up needed further. Though we could not go through, but up to this point we could collect this case. And the concurrent medication that was given to this patient was put on chemotherapy agent cisplatin 60 milligram IV, received by the patient on June 8th, and patient was yet to recover. And these are the, according to this form, when we try to collect the information with regard to this adverse event, for this particular form, for MDE form. So we collected the patient details, our, student, then patient hospital ID, age, weight, medical history, those things were entered into this form. And even the concomitant medications, what the patient was given, those were entered into that form. And then we collected the whole device details, starting from the brand name, manufacturer, importer, distributor, all those details we collected, along with license number, catalog number, model number, serial number, lot number, UDI number, then associated device, if any, then manufacturing date, implantation date, whole bunch of details with regard to that particular instrument we collected for this form. And when we came to the casualty assessment, we have seen the report. Investigation action taken by the clinician was immediately pushed. The patient was put on symptomatic treatment. He was put on antifungal agents, basically, along with the corticosteroids. Then root cause of problem was the photo beam. Because of this radiation therapy, patient was put on, linear accelerator, so that we could find out. And this is how this form, when we did the analysis, we started entering all these details. Date of report, it was reported on, June 15th. Then the type of report was, it was initial. Then the reporter reference for MDMC, that was entered. The month and year we entered. Location we entered. Center was Mahavir Cancer Sansthan and Research Center. The data was entered. Then this part of the form, basically I'm just sharing this information for the people who are new to this program or who are new to this form. So all those, this particular section was dealing with the date, initial, whether it was, we are supposed to mention the, whether it is the initial for in follow-up stage or final, or it was a trend report. Then the report reference number shall be mentioned with regard to center, location, month, year. Similarly, we did all that information. We put it into this form or in this component or in this section. Then the reporter details we mentioned, type of reporter, basically our student, postgraduate students, since we are training them under our supervision. So our research scholar, Yash, he entered this data, Yash Pant, and then has the reporter informed the incident to the manufacturer? No, whatever information we could collect from the clinical setting, in that way we entered that information into this form. And then device category, since this linear accelerator, it is used for therapeutic purpose, we mention it into the, we just click the therapeutic segment here, and it was a part of assistive therapy also, we entered there also. Then it was, since non-implantable device, we ticked that one, and it was a non-invasive. So all those components accordingly in this form. So we entered all those details accordingly. And we also entered the device details with regard to the manufacturer, with regard to the details, with regard to the importer, details with regard to the distributor, all that information, since it was shared by the clinician, all those things we entered. And further, the detail about the device, model, and all those, that information was entered into this system. Then the event description with regard to from where it happened, how it happened, all those details we entered into this form. And at the end, during this form, we have filled the detailed description of the event also with regard to that particular patient and what kind of problem this patient has faced, oral mucositis, that information we entered into this form. Then the frequency of occurrence of similar adverse event in India in past 3 years, all those details for we have filled, whatever information we could collect. So these are the details with regard to the patient. Further, after the device, we have to enter the patient details also. So all those details. Then the healthcare facility information from whose clinic this information is coming. Those details we have filled. Like Dr. Rita Rani, she is the one of the senior consultant in radiology department. So we entered all those details. Then causality assessment, we have entered into that. Whatever treatment has been given to the patient, all those details we entered into this form. And now coming to the case number 2, it is coming from a different facility, and the case narrative something goes like this. It was a case of a 29-year-old female patient who was advised by the gynecologist for intrauterine contraceptive device induced contraception, and this device was implanted successfully on June 11th, 2020, and on October 4th, 2020, almost after implantation of 3 months or 13 days, the patient presented to the gynecology department and reported irregular vaginal spotting and cramping. And the ultrasound scan revealed that these IUD strings were lost and the device has been dislocated in the uterus. And the treatment was not changed and the device was reinserted with proper placement here. And on Feb 13, 2021, the patient admitted with the complaint of device breakage, and on investigation through transvaginal ultrasound, it was confirmed that the device was fragmented inside the patient uterus, and fragmented device was removed and the patient was recovered on February 15, 2021. And the fragmented parts were returned to the manufacturer. That was the action taken on February 18, 2021. And according to manufacturer review, there is no indication of a product quality issue with respect to manufacturer, design or labeling. So therefore, no corrective action was required here. And accordingly, we entered the details into the form again in a similar manner how I discussed in the the case number 1. All those details with regard to the patient hospital setting, patient ID number, age, weight, medical history if the patient has any, concomitant medicine if the patient was taking any. Like in this particular case, that woman, she has taken the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. And then with regard to the device, we have collected all the details starting from license number, catalog number, model number, up to the end. That was the expiration date in the the March 2028. Then with regard to the product, we have collected the brand details, manufacturer details, distributor details. All those details we collected as per the information required for this our material vigilance form or medical device adverse event reporting form. And in similar manner, these details were filled in the form. And all that information, whatever we have collected, we have entered into this form. In similar manner, the device category was basically a therapeutic category here, and it was basically implantable device, and it also required invasive procedures. All those things were entered here. And device details, further manufacturer, importer, distributor sections were filled accordingly. So all single component, whatever information we had, we filled it accordingly. Event description basically and all those details. And detailed description of the event that I discussed before, we entered into this form also. So these are the details. These are the patient details. Accordingly, we filled it, and healthcare facility details, and the investigation action taken. The fragmented parts were removed and were returned to the manufacturer on Feb 18, 2021. And this was based on available information. The level of causality will be probably related to the device here. And these are with regard to manufacturers. And this is the last component. At the end of the form, they will ask you where you are going to report. Here, when it comes to the reporting, once this form is filled, I'm just talking to the audience, people who are attending it here, they can report. Once they fill this form, they can submit it to the either National Coordination Center or maybe in their regional reporting center they can fill, or alternatively any of the nearby AMC also they can fill, and they can report this. The toll-free number is there from MVPI. I think many of the speakers have already discussed this number, and it is stated on IPC website also. In the form also it is given. So alternatively, the report can be made through the toll-free number also. I think this is the detail. Now I just wanted to share my information with regard to the our center. Can you put it on that one? Word file. Word file जो minimize किया monthly summation. Yeah, this one. इसको रिमूव करना पड़ेगा. ये वाला बस इसको ओपन करना. So this is just since many of the people, I understand who are joining this 2 days training program, they want to know the progress, how this center can be run. But let me tell you, when it comes to the Niper Hajipur experience, I will not say that we have done something very, very grateful or very big thing. Though the adverse events are many, many happening in the hospital, whether it is with regard to the drugs or it is with regard to the medical devices. But just I wanted to share how we started since last 1 year, how much data we could collect as a center. And let me tell you, right now we were just focusing on one hospital. We didn't go around many hospitals. We just focused on one cancer hospital, that too a tertiary cancer hospital. And this is the data when we started in June 2022. For the first time in whole month, we could collect just one single report. And that too, getting permissions, entering into the setting, taking along the clinician confidence, they should trust you, they should rely you. You have to convince them that whatever information we are collecting, it is collecting for the patient safety. It has nothing to do with either with the clinician or anybody. We just want to focus on the device. We don't want to focus on the clinician. Whatever information we are collecting, this is with regard to save the patient for the future harm, for the coming, so that other patients should not suffer that adverse event because of that device or that, whatever substance, medical thing. So we started with the just one single reporting in the month of June. July went whole blank. We could not get even a single, adverse event. Then slowly we started peaking. And by the April end, and now even I have a next 3 months data also, we evaluate regularly. But up to April 2023, we could collect 160, adverse events, and we could successfully report it to the IPC. Then when we and the types of, no problem, I need not to say that. Size is coming. Here, let me. वैसे ही करना पड़ा, size बढ़ाएंगे, इससे नहीं होगा. जूम कर लो थोड़ा, यहाँ से जूम की ऑप्शन थी. So since our efforts were very much to the cancer hospital, we were collecting data from the cancer hospital, the kind of adverse events we could observe from our clinical facilities, starting from radiation recall in 47 patients, then hair loss, then epilation, dry desquamation of the skin, sticky and altered saliva. So this is a long list of adverse events which we could observe from the cancer hospital. That too with just single device, linear accelerator. So you can well imagine, we were just focusing on a bigger device. If I start speaking about every single thing, small things, starting from cotton buds and all those things, I think this list could be a long list. We could not focus, we just focused on single device. So you can well imagine how much our patients, they are suffering in the clinical setting when it comes to the medical devices. To see the long list, though it may be easy to read, but every single adverse event, it may create or it may give sleepless nights to our patients. We need to understand that. Even if you have an altered taste also, no, you may not like your night dinner also. You may need to sleep empty stomach. So if you are going through mouth ulcer, stomach ulcer, I'm sure these kind of problem all of us once in our life must have gone through. And we can very well imagine how much it is painful when you develop the mouth ulcer even in summertime, So you can well imagine how much the patients they go through or how much they suffer when you give them, when they have to face these adverse events, that too with medical devices or the pharmaceuticals. And let me tell you, most of the time, these adverse events, they are preventable. If we are bit alert when it comes to pharmaceuticals or medical devices. We have to be very, very careful. And if we are careful, I'm sure many of the medication errors, many of the medical devices induced errors, many of those adverse events are basically preventable in nature. And many of our people do also. Morning when Bilash was speaking as a nursing officer, at many points he put the full stop and he said, it could have happened if we could have not observed. This thing, if we could not have observed in this bottle or IV bottle or in IV set or cannula or needle or syringe, this could have created a big problem for the patient. We stopped it there only. We did not allow this, adverse event to happen. So this is a long list of the adverse events, and just a student he put it into the bar form also. And these are the different organ systems. I will say every single system was involved, from starting from in case of women it was breast, then digestive or gastrointestinal, endocrinal, neuroendocrinal, then genitourinary, germ cell, gynecology, head and neck. Every single system, it is taking into its fold. And when it comes to the severity, I could see 27, adverse events. Those were basically severe in nature on their assessment scale. So this is the information that is coming from one center, and you can well imagine if all the, the medical devices reporting center, I'm sure they must be going through these kind of incidences on day-to-day basis. Though our center is a bit different center, we do not have a direct hospital Niper, but I'm sure where I can see the people sitting from big hospitals, AIMS, different, state level hospitals. I could see sitting doctors in front of me now, and how much they could, every day they will be seeing all those things in their facilities. And I will say that this is one area, my analysis or my, I should say, reflective feedback is with regard to this. Every healthcare professional need to be sincere in this regard. If we have to take the therapeutic uses or diagnostic uses from our medical devices or our therapeutic components, we cannot forget their toxic effects or adverse events. That is our moral responsibility, that we should report all those things. So with this note, I would like to close my session here. Thanks for your patience hearing. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your deep knowledge with us. Any questions from audience side?
And very interesting compilation, sir, and thanks for bringing on the other side. With both the cases, what you have shown, I have two questions. One is, the second one is the user error. The doctor who was implanted, the gynecologist, it is an error from the user, because the causality has clearly said there is no quality check, etc. So it should have been some more studies should have been done. Is it a training, or is it an incorrect implantation, etc., by the doctor, or something else? Because there is inconclusive. Suppose you say कुछ नहीं करना है तो क्यों हुआ? गलती मान लो ना, डॉक्टर का गलती है. So that is not coming here. And in the first one, invariably the cancer patients are in a very bad state. आप उसको कुछ भी दे दो, next day there will be problem. So linear accelerator by one of my friends, the Varian company, they do a lot of studies, make sure that safety is taken, etc., etc. I also would request you, having collected so much information, please make sure that Varian responds, they come out and do the corrective action or come out with a corrective statement. If that much data has been collected for one medical equipments and from one center, there is an urgent need of review, because they are cancer patients in a very vulnerable situation. If this is the correct one, and it's an SOS. So my request to your organization should come, or the MVPI should convey to them through the proper channel. Please do investigate if it's a very serious situation.
Sure, sir. Right now, IPC TV is sitting here, and every monthly basis we are submitting them those reports. I'm sure, in fact, in the past also once or twice we have spoken to them, and this morning also we raised this question. And they have very well acknowledged that yes, we are speaking to the manufacturer also. Whenever the reporting is coming, that
Maybe, sir, my request, maybe IPC should call them under the aegis of CDSU and ask them uncomfortable questions. Why is this happening? Because it can be a horrendous, itna aapne collect kiya data, it should translate into some research, some correction in their system. So I'm more than happy. I know the people, I can connect with them.
Sure.
So,
Sure. I think we can.
wonderful work, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was a nice talk, and case studies are really always interesting because it gives you the actual views what is actually happening. So my question is little different. So if the problem in the first case that happened due to the radiation therapy, why the person was given an anti-cancer drug? Why cisplatin and why not something else? Because mucositis is related to some skin-related problems. So why the person is treated with cisplatin? Because it has nothing to do with the problem that they have seen. So what is the explanation from the doctors there?
So let me tell you, in this particular case, since we are talking about only adverse event, reporting data collection, and to answer this question, I will say we need to go through the complete history of the patient and every single detail instead of, rather than saying why this patient has been, because I usually know in cancer hospital on every day basis at 2:30 they have a clinical board meeting. For every single patient, they discuss the treatment. What should be the next treatment for this given case? So they might have discussed, And to answer this question, I think the detail what I am carrying right now, those may not be sufficient to say that why this patient has been put on cisplatin.
It may be confidential also.
Maybe we don't go enter into because sometimes that is their area, so we cannot encroach there.
Sir, I would like to answer this question. Already this question was on radiotherapy, and because of radiotherapy, it caused this oral mucositis. So we are not going with radiotherapy again. So the alternate management should be the chemotherapy. So that's why in this case, cisplatin drug given.
Okay, so here the answer is he was further treated with anti-cancer drug,
Yes.
not radiotherapy.
Yes.
But the problem that came from anti-cancer drug, that was not treated. You see, the side effect, whatever adverse effect, that was not treated.
It was because of radiotherapy.
No, you see, the adverse effect that has happened, that is something on the skin of the tongue, right?
Yes.
Mucositis, which maybe is something related to fungal infections.
Yes.
So for that, the further treatment was not done. They have given a cisplatin so that the
Yes.
anti-cancer effect can come,
sir.
and hopefully that can alleviate the problem of whatever that is coming.
No,
So,
sir. For the management of oral mucositis, anti-cancer drugs were not given. Antifungal drugs were given. They have mentioned.
there was anti-cancer,
Yes.
antifungal drug was
Yes,
there.
antifungal drugs were given.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Got it.
Am I audible? Am I audible? Should I answer? In a patient of carcinoma tongue, it's always chemo plus radiotherapy together they are given. And so the mucositis is a common side effect. And we have to give both the therapy together to treat this condition. And basically the salivary glands are destroyed. So there is xerostomia, dry mouth, and dry always every dry secretions, right?
Yes,
So
sir, I got your answer. So you are saying instead of radiotherapy in the next phase, they have only gone for chemotherapy. So whatever problem that has come from the radiotherapy, now that has been get rid of.
it's
That's
always a combination therapy which is given in the cancer patient together.
yeah.
Chemo plus radiation therapy together, they have an additive effect. We
Okay.
can't rely only on chemotherapy or radiotherapy, right? So this is the common side effect, and even chemotherapy can cause stomatitis, mucositis, and all things problems because the salivary glands are destroyed because of the radiation therapy as well as is a combined effect. So that is the thing.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Any more questions? Thank you, sir. Now I would like to call upon Dr. Mandal sir and Dr. Murli sir to felicitate the speaker.
आ जाओ मंडल सर, थोड़ा आ जाओ.
Proceeding further towards our last session of the program, that is group exercises case study by Ms. Nikita Mishra ma'am, Material Vigilance Associate, MVPI IPC Ghaziabad. I welcome you, ma'am.
So this is the last session, and this is all about the group exercises. From the case study, how we'll fill the reporting form. So reporting form is there with you all. All the participants is having the reporting form. So we'll just show the case study. You need to fill in the reporting form. So this is the case study. Patient details is there. Initials, hospital ID, age, weight, medical history is there. Device details, brand name, manufacturer, importer, distributor is there. License number, catalog number, model number, serial number, lot number, UDI number, associated device is there. Manufacturing date, implantation date, and expiration date is there. The case narrative is a 49 years old male patient presented to the hospital with the symptom of left knee pain and inflammation due to road traffic accident on June 21, 2020. The patient was shifted to emergency department. The X-ray investigation clears that left femur bone got fractured and doctor advised to implant a orthopedic plate. The device was implanted successfully with consent on the same day. On October 4, 2020, after 3 months and 13 days, the patient presented to the hospital's orthopedic department and reported severe pain and pus discharge from implant site. The X-ray scan revealed the device breakage. The doctor explanted the broken implant. On October 4, 2020, the patient underwent revision surgery and doctor implanted new orthopedic implant of another brand. The patient shifted to general ward and found stable. The broken implant was returned to the manufacturer on October 7, 2020. According to the manufacturer review, there is no indication of a product quality issue with respect to manufacturer design or labeling, and therefore there is no corrective action is required. This is the case study. I just request participants to please fill the reporting form based on this study. In case of any query while filling the reporting form, you just discuss with me. So I'm yes, sir. And online participants also, they'll fill the reporting form by online mode only. The form is available on IPC website. You just go to the website and download. I'm just giving you the 7 minutes time or 5 minutes time. Okay, I'm just giving you the 5 minutes time to you all. So this case study is with you only. So in case of any query in future also, you just write to us. The email ID is satrunjay.ipc@gov.in or mvpi-ipc@gov.in. It is also available in the form. Okay. Now we are moving towards the panel discussion. Over to Samir sir. If any participant is having questions, the panelists are there. They'll be happy to answer all your queries. Okay, first we'll have the tea break of 10 minutes, then we'll move toward the panel discussion.
Thank you, ma'am. It's time for tea break. Kindly guests have your tea. We'll join within 10 minutes.
Also, Dr. Pramod Kumar Manji, Associate Professor and Head, Pharmacology Department, AIMS Patna.
I would like to invite Dr. Mandal sir onto the dais. Now it's time for the panel discussion.
So good afternoon to all of you. Now this 2 days training program, it is coming towards the end, and now the panel is here for the discussion. And any questions or any particular concern with regard to the material vigilance or any further clarification from any one of our students or any one of our participants, whether it's in offline mode or online mode. Online.
I have a view here. Um, I know this particular program is a little bit specific, probably for a particular department, but theoretically all the students would have been here. So whoever are here, actually, I request them to come forward, have to give your inputs regarding this particular system or this particular training, how it can be improved, what you have learned, and what is your vision about how this particular system, because in our country the instruments, medical healthcare professionals, the facilities related to healthcare device management will automatically increase every year. So how the job can be created and how you people can actually grab those jobs. So in that context, I request at least couple of PhD students and couple of master students to come forward and have some raise some queries, or even if you don't have queries, you have your inputs, so that the experts who are there, they can give you they can give their views. So please, it will be really helpful if the students come forward.
I think one student can circulate the mic.
I, Triveni Baikar from MPharm first year Department of Pharmacy Practice. I would like to give feedback on the 2 days national training program on Materiovigilance. So the all over program was very informative and knowledgeable for us. So on the first day of training, we have learned so many things like what is Materiovigilance, role of medical devices, adverse event monitoring centers, in the medical device adverse event monitoring, event reporting, scope and opportunities of healthcare professional in medical device related to adverse event reporting, and the scope and opportunities of healthcare professionals in medical devices related to adverse event reporting, clinician's perspective, healthcare perspective, and the pharmacist perspective, biomedical engineer's perspective. And today we have learned so many things by the Mr. Kadbe Abhilash Bandhu sir. He described about the importance of nurses in the reporting of medical device adverse event monitoring, because the most of the time nurses are taking care of the patients and directly, and he also told the opportunities and challenges for the same and how to address it. Moreover, the case studies were very informative for us. Now the second session was conducted by Dr. Shatrunjay Shukla, sir. So he described the refurbished devices. What is the process for refurbished devices, medical devices, and regulatory guidelines of different countries like America, Japan, European Union and Indian, and the significance of refurbished devices use, like what is the significance, like refurbished devices saves the cost management and the manpower. Next, Dr. Manish Kumar's session. So he described the best practices for monitoring and reporting medical device adverse event monitoring system. So clear reporting system should be is important, and the importance of medical device adverse event monitoring adverse event, and the current practices of medical devices adverse event monitoring in Bihar. In regard, there are AIMS Patna, IGIMS Patna, and Niper Hajipur are the three centers for medical device reporting in the Bihar. Then next is Miss Nikita Mishra, ma'am. She described the medical device how the medical devices how differ from the drugs, like drugs based on the chemistry and pharmacology, safety and efficacy, but the medical devices based on the engineering, performance and accuracy. Next is and also she described the like classification of medical devices, risk based, like class A, B, C. This and class D. These are the classes based on the risk associated with the medical devices and modalities of reporting medical devices. Next is the Dr. Ranjan Chaudhary. His lecture conducted by the online mode, and he described the in vitro diagnostic test. And he also described in vitro diagnostic market, importance of in vitro diagnostic test. Like this in vitro diagnostic tests are very affordable and accurate. Next is Dr. Samisar Dhingra. He described the how metrovigilance is related and helpful to the patients by analyzing the practical case studies. So the all over session was very informative and knowledgeable for us. Thank you so much.
Do you have any queries?
Any queries from your
Any
side?
queries? If you want to raise any queries, you can raise, because these people are going to hear. I'm requesting all the students who are sitting in the back. This is not only summarizing the program, but you can raise your queries. Anything that relates to this particular area. So please. He is louder.
Sir, I have a question regarding like IPC is funding for pharmacovigilance like programs. So the same body is also funding for materiovigilance also. Like the same body is like funding from where the funding regarding materiovigilance is being arranged. Like who is funding?
Obviously, the funding is given by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. Yes, as far as PBPI is concerned, part of the funding is also given by WHO.
So like in India, like IPC is providing for such a program. So what is regarding, sir, global aspect, like in Canada, or like their agencies are, whose main agencies are framing these things, like European.
Can you please repeat the question?
My question is regarding like in India, like pharmacobusiness program, metro business program are being conducted under the IPC Ghaziabad. Like these are the main bodies who are going to conduct, and further their reporting and monitoring is being sent to upper side like Uppsala Monitoring Center. So for other countries such as Canada or like European Union countries, so who are the main bodies regarding who are taking their framework and funding regarding things, who are taking care of, like sir told like WHO only is big, or some inner bodies are also there?
See, like in Japan, PMDA is there.
Yes.
In Australia, TGA is there. in Canada, in Health Canada is there. So, where the PVPI is operational, so there is some respective regulatory bodies having the same function for monitoring the post-market surveillance of the medical products, including drugs, device, vaccines.
Sir, these are the regulatory.
Just to add on, every country has more or less started this journey. We are in the last, or we are in the late entrant. Having said that, we cannot say the systems available in America is very good. Even today, they have an overflow. For example, for everything and anything, as a manufacturer, I need to submit. So tons of information is being submitted. So the officers like him, they're sitting on the other side, will be watching, and they suddenly catch hold because of the artificial intelligence, trend analysis, and very close monitoring by the customers and usage, etc. So they have developed. So there is the response time, reaction time are very fast. Here we are, as I told in the call also, so you can see we are trying to educate even now. We are trying to ask, he is asked the ask questions. We are not even ready because we are afraid, why should I ask question, etc. So this is innate nature of Indians and Asians. So we need to inculcate from industry and a user. If you don't give the feedback, no, the medical devices will be there where it is. And lastly, now I think there is one more Government of India's initiative started, exchange programs. The data from country to country is going to be started exchanging. Thereby what's happening in America will come to them immediately. Even though I may not submit, they will know this guy is not yet submitted, but he has submitted in America. So such type of thing is very good. Thereby they can use the carrot and stick methodology to get the India data for correction. So this is a continuous journey. We have to improvise. In next 3-4 years, it should be aggressively data from the artificial intelligence and trend analysis. We should say these companies are this type of product, in this category of product, this is the issue.
Sir, one more question regarding me. If any person has some diseases and he has a long-term disease of something and he is taking a drug for it, for 2 years, 3 years, and further he don't know regarding if any adverse thing is coming or any adverse reaction is coming to him, and he pursued from India to America thing, and further the doctor over there comes to know regarding that there is an adverse reaction regarding something like that. So that thing will be reported in their country, or they will be sending that report to India, where to register that thing? Yes.
So very good question. Every country has to get the feedback from their citizens to their health authorities first. See, being an Indian, now I cannot straight away write to US FDA. People write, which is wrong, but US FDA will write to the drug controller of India and it comes to us. So data has to go to the nearest health authorities first, and then they escalate. Suppose we don't respond or a drug controller don't respond, then you have got right. You can write to US FDA. US FDA takes very seriously. They write to the manufacturer operating in US. Can you please investigate? Otherwise, I will take action on this. I'll give an example. In Satya Sai Hospital in Bangalore, one guy had a quality issue in my previous company, Philips. So he has contacted our company 10 times. He has got an evidence. Response did not go. He directly wrote to US FDA. US FDA wrote stinker email to our managing director, and our managing director sent to me, please investigate in 24 hours. And that copy has also gone to the drug control. So this is how it works. India mein na thoda aisa hi. So we have to educate, encourage, and push people to give the feedback to the local authority. If there is no response comes, they can escalate.
Sir, also my one question is regarding this thing only. In India, there are variety of the qualities related things. If a person is taking low quality drugs and further he get reported in US, so and also associated to this, if any in India, some good brands like Sun Pharma or something, where the they are being US FDA approved things, and further if any adverse adverse things like comes in their drugs, and that has been reported in their country, like in US. So further, what US FDA can look into directly into their product, or they will consult first to their authority in India, like by their how they have like their manufacturing unit they will consult, or they are able to contact like how they will report if approval of US FDA is being done in India, and further any adverse thing of that drug is coming and being reported in US. So how they will be able to tackle this thing, sir?
So, uh, so whenever a manufacturing facility has an approval from outside country and any adverse event is reported outside, first thing they will do is send us warning letter or letter to the drug control health minister and to the manufacturer. Can you please investigate in a week's time and report? They will stop sale of the drug in that particular country. They will immediately stop if it is a serious adverse event. And you can see the cough syrup incident, which is going in a very big way, and they filed even the international court. So it's like your boundaries. You are cross India and then selling in another country. Adverse event reported in US, they will stop selling. They will ask the manufacturer to give a report. Then the country, for example, India is going to investigate, and they will also hold manufacturing and sale till the investigation is through. So this is how they work, because there will be bilateral agreements in terms of quality. The last but not the least, suppose you don't have US FDA, you don't have CE, you are only having the drug controller's approval, selling in India. Then what happens if there is an adverse event reported in India, or a guy carries that strip and takes in America? It's not sold in US. Indian guy takes that drug in America, but he gets affected. He reports in US and India. Then first thing, the drug controller will stop manufacturing in India, investigate. So the boundaries and the approvals matters. You have multiple approvals, then you are accountable for multiple outside. I hope I clarified your question.
Sir, I satisfied with your answer. Secondly, sir, my question is regarding Metrovigilance only. Like, sir, in India, I have a confusion regarding all the drugs which are being sold around the global, that US FDA is uppermost authority. Like, if he approves, so every drugs being we are able to sell and that are satisfied. So for regarding medical devices, sir, what are the upper authority who satisfied ISO is there, or like something like their quality things? Like if he approves, that is it is uppermost body. So I am a manufacturer in India. So whom and I am developing any medical device over here, sir. So what is the uppermost authority license I would have or satisfaction that I can be able to sell in US market or Canada market or any of the region like? So who are that?
Okay. So I will ask question to you guys also. Other than CDSU, can anyone raise the hand? How many regulators in India who we are accountable for? Just vague guess. How many more regulators in India? 1, 3, 4, 5. So there are about 13 ministries we are accountable for. So the drug controller is first, and then there are others. I'll just list because it's a small session, and then I want to everybody to speak. So there is a Bureau of Indian Standard which prescribes standard, which does not mandate. The drug controller only says you need to comply with applicable Indian standards, or if not there, the other available international standard or the company initiated standards that is there. So they only prescribe that. But as a company, if I want to claim a CE marking, I need to comply with the international standards. So India may not have. India has got 1,480 standards. Internationally, medical devices has 1,580 standards. So India has more or less harmonized standards, but there are about 600 standards in the 1,400 are Indianized. So they are not harmonized. We are working on to harmonize it. So your question is the compliance is to the respective countries outside. So in India, if I want to sell in India, I can just say I comply to the ISO standard, are international standard and get the registration from CDSU, I'm happy. But which is not the case. Because India, we may not able to make money. So I need to make money to sustain. So we need to export. All of us, there are 780 companies in India which is manufacturing, and majority are small class A, and 3% are class C and D, class B and C. So majority wants to export. For export, they need to take a CE approval. That means they have to comply with the IEC standards in electrical safety and applicable standards. And if there somebody wants to export to US, US FDA, they have need to comply with. So standards more or less across the world has handshaken. India has got that more or less standards are there. Thoda India nice kar diya hai. So if I want to release my product, if it is only the straight case like any medical device, first I need to check whether there is a radiation safety. Then I have to get approval from the atomic energy. If there is any BIS mandatory standards, X-ray has got a mandatory standard, so I need to take approval from BIS. If there is any panel, display panels in like MRI, bedside patient monitor, etc., I need to take approval from MeitY, Ministry of Electronic Telecommunication. And so on and so forth, it goes on. And so there are 13 other ministries. All you need to check, make sure that you comply with that. They are peripheral standards like plastic waste, e-waste, labeling requirement under legal metrology, Ministry of Consumer Affairs. Okay, so this list goes on, but you need to check where I need to. So since the majority of the final tick off comes from the CDSUO will guide. This is what you need to go. But please reach us. I can send the holistic PPT, all the requirements for your reference, but there are 13 ministries.
Uh, I have a question. Should the reprocessing of syringes should be banned in India? Because that is the infected needles. They are the cause of causing HIV or hepatitis B infection. Reprocessing of the syringes.
Sir, first of all, syringes fall in the category of single use only. I'm very much afraid of your word reprocessing. There should never be allowed.
Yeah.
And if something is happening, we have to request the individuals and all the stakeholders to report to the
Because
CDSO. Yeah.
because in today's one of the presentation, they were showing syringes with the blood clots, and that is a thing that is they were reused probably.
No. Actually, the figure you are talking about is of quality issue. That particular, I think, nursing officer has mentioned in the first session. So it is not related to like reprocessing or as far as I know, because since the said person is right now not here. So
Okay.
in any case, single use devices which is meant to be used for single use, they are not meant to be refurbished or reprocessed.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to add, I missed the refurbished equipment presentation. I've done a lot of work on that. So 3 points. Pre-owned equipments which are used in ICUs are banned as an importation into India since last 7 years, 8 years. And latest notification last month, the refurbished equipments or / pre-owned equipments can be imported in case of high-end, high-value equipments because they are not available in India, especially X-ray CT, cath lab, PET CT, SPEC CT, and some of the equipments, about 30 or 35 categories. The list is available in the website. Those equipments can be imported as pre-owned by the end user, trader, authorized subsidiary, or the OEMs with the due approvals from the CDSUO. CDSUO is working on the template. It is just announced. So last but not the least, I completely agree with you. The quality is the issue. I will just give an example. In India, the funny case is one of the case came from the state of Punjab for the suppliers of the gloves, hand gloves. So hand gloves is not an expensive one, and the complaint has gone to the manufacturer. That time MBPI was not there. So they said, sir, पहले हम 7-8 बार स्टेरलाइज करके reuse करते थे. अभी एक या दो यूज करने के बाद इट्स गेटिंग डैमेज्ड. 7-8 बार यूज कर रहे रीयूज. So you can imagine the patient's apathy in those state. So this is the problem, and they are calling and telling the manufacturer. Manufacturer said, sir, it is a single use only. So this is the problem. So we need to, as a collectively, fight out. This can happen to any one of us because we get admitted and we do not know what are the going to happen inside. So we need to push. We need to push the authorities. Single use means single use only, and those products which are sterilized in hospital and used, that also should be checked, because if they don't sterilize, manufacturers' effort of manufacturing with quality is also goes for a toss.
So even I also have an example just to add you. There is a device called cranial perforator. This device is meant to make hole inside the skull. So whatever the reports actually we have received, this device is meant for single use. So we received reports from a hospital from South India. The doctor claimed like he was using the same device, cranial perforator, on second time in a ICU, and suddenly the cranial perforator broken, and the particles of that metal or that device went inside to the brain of that patient, and finally I won't say कि patient died or he was recovered, but yes, it was a scenario. And this same event happened at least 3 times. So we received 3 reports of the cranial perforator that is meant to be used for single use, but yes, they were using continuously, like repeatedly, second time, third time, like that.
The good news is AIMS and the procuring agencies for AIMS, HLL, banned supply of refurbished pre-owned equipments since 2002. So the Sarkar nahi karidta hai second hand. They don't encourage. So it is safe to go to the government hospital. I'm just telling you on the other side. So they never encourage, but it is a menace in the industry. Someone is misusing. So whoever has asked the question, I thank you, but then please encourage everybody to bring that to the authority so that we can fight out a single use means single use only.
Sir, we have a question from our online audience. Can Metrovigilance be implied to SAMD software as medical devices? If yes, any examples observed by MVPI? Can Metrovigilance be implied to SAMD software as medical devices? If yes, any example observed by MVPI?
So yes, software is considered as a medical device, but just to answer this question.
Softwares like endoscopy and PET CT machines in their software is embedded. So it is also considered as a medical device because they are also helping us in diagnosis and treatment of the patient. So definitely software comes under the category of medical device. Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. I am Priyanka Gua from Department of Pharmacy Practice. I have one question. Like, if the medical device is showing any adverse drug reaction, that it is being reported and the report is sending to the manufacturer, like something is wrong with that product, and they are taking the action to solve it. But if the user is making any mistake to use it, or any storage condition for that, like the blood that the blade was not sterile for incision, so in that case, what is the action is taken? If any training is providing to the user or the storage condition or to the hospital, how it is being handled?
So yeah, so with use of the medical device, there may be chances of error or adverse event due to two processes. Mainly, one is due to procedural or maneuver related or storage related, and then another is due to device related quality issue. So first we have to ensure the proper use, storage, proper process or maneuver. That is why the device work properly. Okay, so it should be corrected by proper training, proper awareness, proper guidance, or reading the booklets by how to use. Okay. And another, if there is quality issue or efficiency issue in the device, of course, the manufacturer will take the responsibility. But the maneuver related, storage related issue can be managed at the hospital level or at the level of the healthcare professional.
In case studies, we have seen that in some cases, the manufacturer has declared that no problem from their side.
Yes, if there is a problem with the user, why manufacturer will take the responsibility?
Yes, after this reporting, the reporting has been done. After this reporting, the from where this report has been started, if it is from the patient or it is from the healthcare practitioner, whatever it is, so he will be informed again that
Yes, it should
this
be
problem is
reported.
started from there.
Everything should be reported. That is why we can take the action. Ultimate aim is to save the patient, okay, or user.
Yes.
So if it is not reported, why we can just train the person using the any device? So anything suspected, confirmed should be reported. First we report, culture of reporting, and reporting. Okay. Then we will take action.
Okay. Thank you.
To add on this, again, I will stress just for a cautionary note, even if you are suspicious also, then also you should report. Okay, whatever outcomes will be there, that would be later on. But reporting must be there. Even if you are suspicious also, there may be a instrument or device related error, or maybe a human error also. You are getting my point. But if you are suspicious, one should report.
I'll give just a second. I'll give a common man example. You buy iron. Most of you have iron. Suppose you are getting a shock. So you do not know. You call your electrician. He says, "Madam, perfectly right. There is an issue with this iron system." So before taking all those investigations, just report to the concerned supplier. Was there? I bought this on this bill. I am getting a shock. They will start investigating because it's a very serious issue. So even a diabetic pricking, the blood glucose monitor. So suppose you are pricking and if the pointer is widened, the blood is gushing out. So the diabetic patient will have a serious issue. So it has to be reported. It can be inappropriate. Now that the pens have come to safeguard. But as you said, no, 70 to 80% of the time it is an user error. But one should not take, as sir said, let us not discuss. First report. You have got regulators, you have got manufacturers, use your connection. If there is no connection, please make the data available, where to report, and then report it, please.
No, I understood. We have to report if there is happening anything. So after reporting, the manufacturer is saying that we don't have any problem with that product.
So then I will tell you, then you have got right to ask them. The manufacturers do a CAPA. Then they will come out, okay, this is the user error. Then what they will do in the instruction for use, they will change the requirement or they will start training if it is not this one. So there is a series, because their products will get stopped. If they every day the call is going to them that there is a serious issue of using. So they will have to train. They will use the various digital training, physical training, and different methodology to stop that.
Yes, sir. That was my question. The consumer who are using this, the information will be delivered back to those patients or not? That was my
Yes. That's what I will give a last example. I think I come from the Philips. There was a serious adverse issue for CPAP and BiPAP, which are used for the
non-invasive
respiratory distress. So in the US in 2021, somebody has complained 50 cases or some cases, and in India there is no case. There was some particles gone into the throat and possibly carcinogenic, etc. So we reported to US. US said stop. So we stopped. Across the world, we have done a recall, and 1.5 billion we have lost. So now we are training users. We have changed the entire chemical position, etc., and submitted. We are training and telling them if this uneven irritation, anything happen, please report to us. So we have spent millions of dollars to reach the patients. We have sold 10 lakh people in last 11 years. We are trying to find out them, reporting them, please come back. So it's a painful work. In India, there is no...
I got my answers. Thank you.
I'll say training is an essential component. Though human error may be involved, reporting, whatever it is, it should be given. But at the same time, if any error is involved, ultimately training has to be done. And other component may be there, but that need to be seen to what extent damage has been occurred. So, so those things, that is a totally different scenario.
Sir, if you see the right now material vigilance program, it is
I think this is the
basically
last
focused
question,
on,
okay?
yes,
Because already we are
yes, sir.
exceeding the time. Some of the members, they have to leave. Okay?
Yes, sir, last question. So it is more focused on health facility. Moreover, these devices which are used, medical devices, it is used under the supervision of healthcare professional doctors or any other technicians. But if you see the other devices which are not used at healthcare facilities, like digital watches, what about their regulation? Whether they are notified or not? And if there any like event, though they are non-invasive, what about their regulation? If they shows incorrect results,
So non-invasive. This is you are
digital
telling the
watch,
Apple Watch.
digital watch.
Okay. So I've just taken an approval just before 1 week before leaving the Philips. We got precedent across the world. The digital watches which are not claiming measurable things and which are not claiming as a decision making output, means it is only notifying your heartbeat, sleep parameters, etc., even the cardiac rhythm, but it does not say. There is a disclaimer, this is only a general trend, you need to go to the doctors for further investigation. So I got the approval from the same drug control that this is does not require any regulatory approval, as long as your disclaimer is already there. So it is not a medical device.
So it
as
is
on
not
today,
included under medical devices.
No, no.
it is not a medical device. However, in Korea, Apple Watch is claiming the cardiac rhythm as a
Yes.
decision making.
Yes.
There they said no. If you are claiming, then it is a medical device.
So that is
in
the
next,
main question.
yeah.
Yeah,
From
because
industry.
Apple Watches, they are informed like they are reading the ECG. On that basis, they are like diagnosing it is atrial fibrillation or atrial flutter, or patient may have heart attack as well. So in that
See, if
case,
the manufacturer is claiming that the findings or the result, whatever your digital watch or digital thing is showing, is can be used for medical purpose only, then only it may be considered as a device, and they need to take approval from the respective regulatory authorities from where they are selling their device.
In phase 2, the Philips is going to come out an online digital software. Anybody can just pay and download. And moment you download in your mobile, it starts measuring. So in phase 2, they are going to launch. I was a part of that project. So then they will claim it as a medical device. Then it will be class B.
because this question arises because of in COVID-19 pandemic. So all the like people they were using digital watches and they were seeing for saturation. So
So it's very sorry state. I don't want to again reiterate, the products coming from our neighboring country are not safe. Please don't buy. Because paisa kam ka chakkar mein we buy a product which does not have any claims, and tomorrow wrong outcome can be a disastrous, mentally disastrous. So suppose you are safe, you start. My neighbor in Gurgaon, he bought a digital watch from China for 3,000 rupees, and it started showing erratic results. So his wife said, you have to get admitted. Aapka ye parameter hai. Then he discarded the watch and he's safe and nothing, no problem. So don't go for the substandard quality. Second one, this is only an indicative. Please go to the doctor and check the parameters. All the claims are like that. Only even the Apple claims,
yes.
this is only an indicative.
So though they are like they have given disclaimer, but if this digital watch it is showing like your saturation is 89%, people that particular patient may get hyper. So is there any provision or we should do any provision from government end?
Just wait. CDSO is watching. Then America is also watching. They are going to come out with a regulation, because this is like an artificial intelligence. So it is like I was telling in my presentation also, tomorrow you go to the pizza, artificial intelligence, your card reader says your parameters are not conducive. Sorry, sir, I cannot sell you the pizza. So that will be extreme case going to happen after 10 years. But now we have to be cautious. Regulators are coming out with a proper regulation is coming one and a half years.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, we have questions from online participants also. Vidya Menon has a raised hand. She can ask question.
Hello, sir. Good evening. Sir, I had a few questions. May I go ahead with it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, this is last question. Please go ahead.
Yes. So, my question was, suppose if a device is being approved by the US FDA, before that device is commercially sold to the patients in India, are they tested for their safety and performance at the domestic level? Do we have any additional measures where we test these devices?
See, the regulation in India has come now. Last year, October 1st, A and B. This year, October 1st, C and D are going to be regulated. Rest of the 37 devices are regulated in the last 15 years. When there is no regulation, currently also C and D is not regulated. The thumb rule is if it is approved in US, approved in the European community, the buyers will buy. The users have right to get quality tested products, and there is no issue. Even today, CDSO does not ask products to be retested in India. The government is thinking, should we do? Then the cost will increase. So currently parameter is release certificate, quality release certificate from the country of origin is sought for regulatory approval, and all the compliance to the IC, electrical and electronic safety is checked. In case they have got doubt, they have got two parameters. One, ask the manufacturer to submit the local testing certificate, or worst scenario, regulator can visit the manufacturing site. That's an extreme case when there is a doubt on quality. As on today, they are not testing, they are going by the test certificate submitted along with the credential of CE and FDA approvals by the manufacturer.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to all the dignitaries, as well as their guidance to resolve our queries. Now, I would request to Dr. Sameer Dhingra sir to address the closing remark as well as vote of thanks.
So, good afternoon to all of you. So, there is a proverb: all happy things comes to an end. Okay, so our this 2 days training program, it has come to an end, and I'm here to present a vote of thanks on behalf of the organizing team from Niper Hajipur and as well as Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission. So I take this opportunity to propose vote of thanks to all the dignitaries who have assembled here in both physical as well as online mode for this 2 days training program on pharmacovigilance. And at the outset, I'm thankful and I'm grateful to all the members who have visited here, all the dignitaries, including our chief guest, Dr. Ramji Singh, then our special guest, Dr. V. Klai Selvan, and his whole team from IPC, Dr. Shatunjay, and Nikita, and all these people who have come from IPC. I'm really grateful to all of them. And in fact, we are also grateful to Mr. Asim Sahu, Deputy Drug Controller, CDSCO New Delhi, for sparing his invaluable time and coming here, staying here with us for 2 days, and discussing every single point with regard to his domain here with when it comes to the material vigilance. Then Dr. Shantanu Tripathi from Netaji Subhash Medical College Hospital. Then among the esteemed panel of judges, Dr. Pramod Kumar Maji. Then from AIMS, Patna. Then Mr. Sudhakar Merpadi, Director, Regulatory and Government Affairs, South Asia, Becton Dickinson. He is also among the panel members. Then Mr. Gaurav Kumar, who is the Deputy Manager for Regulatory Affairs and Quality Assurance, Tarumo India Private Limited, Haryana. So I'm grateful to all these members who have accepted our invitation and present here in physical mode. Most of the members, they were here in the physical mode. And I'm also grateful to Dr. Ranjan Chaudhary, VSM Advisor, Health Technology Division, NHSRC, New Delhi, for giving his presentation in online mode. Then Dr. Manish Kumar, Additional Professor, IGIMS, Patna. Then all other members, all other dignitaries who have participated either directly or indirectly during the, the presentations during the training seminar, this training program. Then I'm also thankful to our director, Sir Professor V. Ravichandran, for his tireless efforts to promote, material vigilance activities, not only in Niper Hajipur, I will say in this whole eastern region now, because Niper Hajipur has been recognized as one of a regional training center for all these northern eastern states. I'm really grateful to Dr. V. Ravichandran. Without his efforts, these things, I personally feel it could have not been possible. I know behind the curtain how much he was putting the efforts. And I also take this opportunity to thank our chief patron, Miss Saparna, IAS officer, Secretary, Department of Pharmaceuticals, that I could realize, how much she was sincere towards her efforts during the last month. But for, we have attended the Chintan Shivar for all Nipers in Gujarat state, and she was physically there, and how much she has stressed on, pharmacovigilance as well as materiovigilance activities to be promoted in our, population. Then I also extend our sincere gratitude to our patron, Professor Samit Chattopadhyay, BOG chairman, for his constant support to Niper Hajipur. And at last, I also congratulate all the participants for taking their special efforts to attend this 2 days training program on material vigilance. Though I could see the people who are physically here, but I came to know that more than 750 participants. And today morning, I have been informed that 800 plus candidates, they have participated during this, last 2 days event. Though I could not see personally or I could not, recognize, but I really recognize all of your efforts being here, and that shows the willingness of a citizen of India. How much people, how much our healthcare professionals, they are worried about the, the adverse events associated with these medical devices. Last but not least, a special thanks to the organizing committee, special thanks to the IPC team and all the sporting staff, and as well as the print and electronic media photographers for their support in making this convocation a grand success. So I recognize the contribution of efforts for each and everyone and each and every single member who was associated from the Niper Hajipur. So thank you all. Jai Hind. And now I think I would also request all the members to stand up for our national anthem for a closing. जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंग विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाए तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे Jaya, 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 He. Thank you. So we will conclude this session here. Thank you.